Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Standard, and today I want to talk to you about Akka.net's new health check system that we've just introduced into some recent releases of Akka.Hosting. Now, we've had an older package called Akka.HealthChecks that's been around for a number of years. We are deprecating and replacing that because the new substitute that is built directly into Akka.Hosting allows us to integrate directly with Microsoft's built-in health check service much more easily than we could before. It's also much more configurable. It's easier to write custom health checks. And most importantly, the health checks that we ship with are much more cautious about marking systems as unhealthy. Akka.net is a great tool for being able to build self-healing software systems, and we have some videos about this. Having super aggressive health checks, which the old library did, actually can interfere with Akka.net's ability to heal itself when things like network partitions happen. So we've redesigned this library with all of those use cases in mind, and I want to show you how to use it in this short video today. Let's dive in. All right, so we have a companion blog post that is coming out with this video. Title is, you don't need to use Akka.HealthChecks anymore. This is the old library. This blog post is kind of oriented at people who've already been using Akka.net. If you're brand new to it, don't worry about it. But what's useful here is that the post will go ahead and show you all the different little configuration examples. And it'll get into some detail that I'm not going to inside this video. So definitely recommend checking that out. But the first thing I want to take a look at is actually the Akka.Hosting repository, which is where this is all defined currently. And if you scroll down here, this is our documentation for this particular feature. Now I'm going to pull up this piece of code myself here. This is the Akka.Hosting source code, and the example we want to take a look at is the akka-hosting.asp.logging demo. This is like a minimal web API ASP.NET Core application, and we're doing all of the necessary things that you need in order to integrate with the Microsoft.Extensions.HealthCheck infrastructure. The first is we call add health checks. This is what registers the health check service that this system is going to use to essentially gather health check reports from all the various little health checks you have added to your application. So we're just using some Akka.net health checks here, but if I was also using, let's say, Entity Framework Core for doing projections, those libraries have built-in health checks too. I could register all of those onto the service collection, and those will all get exported down here where we're calling map health checks. This is the HTTP endpoint we're going to expose that includes health check information. Now, the Akka.net specific piece of this is twofold. First, this is our standard Akka.Hosting configuration builder call. If you want to learn more about Akka.Hosting, we've got like at least 3 videos on it. Definitely recommend checking some of those out. But Akka.Hosting is essentially how you integrate Akka.net into the Microsoft.Extensions ecosystem very quickly. If it's not already, it'll become the sort of de facto standard for how we integrate Akka.net. Akka.Hosting is the new de facto standard for how you do configuration with Akka.net. So this is what we're using here. Now, the configuration builder, you'll see us configuring loggers, remoting, clustering, all that good stuff. But we have a pair of built-in health checks right here with Akka Cluster Readiness Check and with Actor System Liveness Check. Doing these 2 calls right here is all you need to get these 2 health checks registered with the health check service. The old approach that we had before required a lot more work than this, but it's really simple now. In addition to defining, let's say, built-in health checks, we also have the option for doing custom health checks. This is a brand new DI-supported health check type that we support. If I go down here, you can see that we implement the IAkkaHealthCheck interface, and we can specify some dependencies in our constructor that we want to support. So in this case, we're just trying to get a hold of the Microsoft.Extensions.logging system so we can log some messages whenever this health check runs. So that's really convenient. That's one way of defining a custom health check. All right, now I cut for just a second there because we have this with actors call. We're registering a little local actor here. We're just using the Akka DSL syntax to define one on the fly using lambdas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a health check for this specific actor. So we'll go ahead and rename this to Akka-Actor. Actually, I'll go ahead and call this Akka-Actor Live. And what we're going to be able to do is we're going to, inside this little health check function, we can access the actor system, the actor registry, and we get a cancellation token which will expire if this health check is overdue. I am going to resolve this actor and ping it. And if this actor isn't alive, we will return back that we are unhealthy. If the actor is alive, we'll return back that everything is hunky-dory. Let me fix that parentheses down here. I'll talk a bit about what this method does in a second, but for the time being, let's go ahead and run this little sample. So I'm going to go ahead and build this. Okay, looks like the sample's running. Let's take a look at localhost. So this is just the output that our little echo actor is transmitting. That looks great. Let's take a look at our health endpoint. These are our health checks that we have added to this application. So first we have our built-in Akka cluster join health check right here. Indicates that we have a status of healthy, that's good. And this is how long it took us to observe a completed cluster join inside the system. This built-in health check is never going to change its value. After we successfully join a cluster the first time, it'll always report back as true. That's good. We don't want to fluctuate on that value a whole bunch because tools like akka.cluster split brain resolver will try to address issues if the cluster is unhealthy on the fly. We should let it do that without any interference from the health check system. This health check right down here, this liveness check, this will essentially fail if the actor system is shut down. That's what this is all about. So in the event that the actor system gets killed but the rest of the process keeps running, usually you have a zombie process when this happens and you don't want to do that. That's what this health check's for. And these two are custom health checks down here. This is our dependency injected health test, which just is basically just reporting back that DI is working. And then down below, we also have this akka-actor-live. That is the custom health check I wrote for this actor specifically. And if I refresh these, you'll see some of these durations fluctuate a bit. That's how long it took the health check system to evaluate this. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is the tags. You will notice that all of these health checks registered to Akka.net all include the Akka tag. This is designed to work in combination with, let me go and shut this down real quick. This is all designed to work in combination with these health check options down here. Now, normally you can go ahead and just expose your health check endpoint without any of these, and that'll work just fine. You'll just get like a very simple status summary back and an HTTP code, no problem there. But if you want to customize it, you can do things like filter health checks based on what is actually included inside their tags. So for instance, I can actually create another map health checks call right here. We'll go to healthz/akka. And this will be a predicate where, let's see, we'll go ahead and do f, health check registration, f.tags contains akka. And then let me grab this, include only akka.net health checks. And up here, I can go ahead and include health checks that do not have akka. So we'll go ahead and say a little comma there. Tags does not contain akka. Let's go ahead and run this and see how well that works. Okay, now we're back. Let's go ahead and reload our old healthz endpoint. Looks like we just have a summary reporting back that everything's healthy, but there's no checks in here at all. If we go and take a look at the /akka endpoint, now you can see all of our old health checks that were there. So one of the things that we try to do is use one of these Microsoft.Extensions.HealthChecks best practices, which is tagging and grouping all of our health checks appropriately. So if you want to have a totally separate health check on a separate route for measuring the health of Akka.net, this will allow you to do that. Now, before we wrap up, I wanted to flip back to the blog post because this might answer some questions that weren't addressed by the video. A lot of people like to run Akka.net as a headless service, for instance. If I'm not running Akka.net with any sort of HTTP endpoint, how can I use this health check system there? Well, I float a couple of ideas down here. One is converting your headless application to use web application instead of the generic iHost builder. That'll let you just use the healthz endpoint. The other option is you can use something like an IAkkaHealthCheck publisher that will allow you to publish a file-based health check if you wanted to. It really kind of depends on what works best for you, but this is all totally configurable largely through the Microsoft.Extensions.HealthCheck infrastructure. So anyway, check out the blog post for more information. Leave us a comment if you have any questions, and otherwise, please go ahead and get started with Akka.Hosting and enjoy the new health checks. You want to make sure that you're running on at least version 1.5481 or later. And we're planning on expanding these health checks to include some additional functionality. I talk about that a little bit further down here. So please go ahead and stay tuned and follow us for updates in our Discord or on Twitter. Well, that'll do it for this video. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to check the description to find links to other resources we may have included. So blog posts, GitHub code samples, other videos, so on. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. We'll catch you next time. Thank you very much.